様が強者だ。俺様が悪の頂点だと自覚させてくれる。お前たちこの悪徳領主リアム様にひれ伏せ。復讐だ。これは俺の復讐だ。全て前世に対する復讐だ。
What's going on, everyone? We just got done watching the first anime of spring season for 2025. This one was called I'm an Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire. And this was just a killer episode number 1. One of the things that I always say in isekai anime is show us what the MC, what the main character's past life was all about. Now, some do this way better than others. Some basically show us a little clip of them getting hit by a truck, falling off of a plane, getting hit by a train, and then they just kind of cut to their life. But we don't know anything about them, about who they were, about their character, about their struggles, about their blights, about their happiness or dislike or hatred or anything. And this one really did exactly what I wanted to see from an isekai anime. It spent the majority of episode 1 introducing us to Liam, who is our main character. So as a reminder, just for everybody here, the story is as follows. This is just based off the synopsis, which is Liam lived a past life as a moral, responsible person, but died deep in debt and betrayed by his wife. He ended up being reborn in a ruling family of a vast interstellar empire. Liam knows that life is divided by the downtrodden and ones who do the stomping, so it's time to make sure that he wants to live for himself this time. But somehow things refuse to work out that way, and every evil deed ends up getting him more love, blah, 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 blah. So basically, this is a story where you have a guy who's been just, he was just totally just ruined in his past life by his coworker, by his wife. It's crazy how things got interwoven, by his child. And this time he's like, I'm gonna be the villain, right? So as he's dying, as he's on his deathbed, for whatever reason, whatever happened to this man, everything in life went wrong. As he's on his deathbed, this being, this demon, this something comes and it's like, hey, I picked you. You are just miserable. You are just blah, 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 blah. He's like, I'm going to give you a brand new life. You choose whatever you want. Fantasy, you want a time period piece. He's like, okay. Intergalactic. He's like, I want to be born in space, bro. Because my best friend from school days, we used to love this stuff. I want to be. So he gets born into this noble family and he decides, I'm going to be the villain. I'm going to just be chaos. But it looks like things are going to go as planned for him, although he's going to do everything that he thinks villainy is just going to get him love and renown instead. Now, I love the episode just because it introduced us to, like I said, Liam, but man, his story was just so rough. He was living this life, and in my mind, I was like, oh, he was living a pretty good life, right? He had a wife. On surface level, you know, before we got into the nitty gritty, he had a wife that looked like she loved and supported him. You know, he had a daughter that he was really proud of. You know, he had a daughter who was in certain classes and stuff and learning and doing, like, I think she was doing judo or something. And he was just basically living his life. And he had a job where he put a lot of time, a lot of effort into, you know, to be a team lead or whatever he was in his job. And he was basically working himself to the bone to support and make sure that his family was in a good position. They even thought about getting a dog at some point, and he thought he was doing everything right. He thought he was checking all the boxes, everything that a lot of people are told to do in life. You know, he thought that he was doing the right thing. He thought he was living the right way. And he comes to find out that based on his friend, you know, getting like a recommendation, he stumbles upon his wife with, you know, having lunch with somebody. He's like, yo, what is this going on? And then work is not going the right way. He keeps getting in trouble. He keeps getting called out. And he's just like, what the F is going on? He sees his wife again. He sees his daughter calling some random dude Papa. He's like, yo, what in the F is going on? This guy's just getting... And he comes to find out, you know, at the end of his life, right? He gets screwed over by his wife. She divorces him. She breaks up with him. Come to find out that the dude at work that he worked with apparently like knew his wife also and might be the biological father of his actual daughter, and they might have been using him the whole time, and then she divorces to get his money, and he uses him to get a ton of money wired and gets him fired. Like the conspiracy is just next level. So just to kind of put a button, that's kind of like what happened on the episode. But like for me, you know, one of the things, like I said earlier, that I love about isekai is when they have a really, really strong setup story. The reason that people love like anime so much, like Mushoku Tensei, right? Another isekai anime, like the father of isekai, is because that main character is so well established through different backstories, through his origin story. You had a good grasp of what kind of a piece of crap he was in his past life, and you knew that version of that main character. So here we kind of know this version of Liam as far as he was just trampled on, he was taken advantage of, he lived a life that was just a complete lie. Everything fell apart for him. He ended up dying because of it, just due to stress and everything else, that just his body just deteriorated on himself. So now we're behind this character. It's like, yes, let's get one with him. So I think establishing these kinds of roots in an episode 1 really does numbers for an episode, and really does numbers for an anime. It really shows us, like, it really kind of gets it gets what episode 1 should do. And I always say, like, episode 1, that is your time to show, like, that you got to just show what you can do. And I think this episode 1 really grabbed us, or at least it did me as a viewer, to go like, okay, I'm in it. I want him to get revenge too. I want him to get one back. I want him to, you know, get revenge on the world, on the universe, for giving him such a bad hand in life. Like, yeah, let's go for it. And obviously he goes a little nuts, so a little crazy. So it seems like it's gonna have elements of funniness too, because of the supporting characters that they've put around him as well. So overall, I think episode 1 was like a 9 out of 10. I think this was like a very, very, very excellent showing for a isekai that may not be on a lot of people's radars. So if you were hesitant, you know, about jumping into this anime, you know, as you're here with me now, and maybe you watched episode 1, or maybe just watching my review, I think we're in for a pretty good, fun ride with this show. So Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire. This one was already on my radar before. I had seen like a preview, like a PV before about it. I was like, oh, this one looks a little like, you know, this one looks like it'll be a little bit good. But really, episode 1 really solidified it for me with his origin story, because now I'm behind him as a character of like, yes, like he deserves everything and anything coming to him in a good way, because like of the life and bad hand he was dealt before. So like, I can't wait to see more. I think this one was definitely going to be one of those gems of the season. This was supposed to start, I think, on April. I think it's supposed to start next week, but we got introduced with 2 episodes back to back. This is my episode 1 review, so I'll do this, and then I'll have an episode 2 review where we'll talk less about the story, because, you know, episode 1 definitely want to talk about the synopsis and the story, and we'll do less about that. And we'll talk more about just kind of what we get during that episode. So I appreciate you guys being here for the start of spring season, spring season episode, spring season 2025. I think we're in. If this is the level of where we're starting spring, I think we're in for a good season, which we need one, because winter season, although there was a couple of gems here and there, mostly as we got to the tail end of the season, it was very disappointing. So I think we need a big win, and I feel like spring is going to deliver for us. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below if you watched it. And if you did it, you're just watching this, hey, I freaking appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit like and, of course, subscribe. And I'll see you guys for episode number 2. And I'll see you for more spring season anime. Peace.